Good afternoon, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me from the comment section. Let me know if you can hear me. Type a yes in the comment section if you can hear me. All right, thank you. So welcome to today's class. Today is the end of the 7 days DevOps, Cloud Security, Cloud Engineer, Linux training. Yesterday we covered how to deploy a web application on our on a Linux server, which will deploy a basic website on a Linux server, and we view the website was running, and we also start the introductions to the bash scripting. So today we are going to go in deeply into the bash scripting. So yesterday we learned how you can form a bash script shell. So today we are going to go deeply into what is a bash script and how can you use a bash script to run your day-to-day task. Yesterday we run all of this code one by one, and as we are running the code, as we ran the code yesterday, we copy each of the command, we copied it and we put it out, and at the end of the day we have a full bash scripting. So today I will now use this bash scripting, this bash script, I will use it to deploy another web application. So this is the benefit of a bash script. Whenever you are running a bash script, you can use your bash script to you can create it once and use it multiple times. So that is the main purpose of bash script. Now, yesterday we ran this code, and if you want to deploy an application like this again, we don't have to run the code or write the code individually again. We just call the script. We just call the script, and the script will we deploy the applications that we want to deploy. So without further ado, let's start today's work proper, and I will start to introduce us to what a bash script file is. When you have a bash script, it's just a combination of commands. The command that you've tested and you know that it works individually by themselves, and when you put all of these commands together, it forms a script. And this script, anytime you want to run all the same command again, you just need to run the script, and the script we write or we execute all the command or all the tasks that you want to perform. So how this file is created: if you want to create a bash scripting, the first thing you need to do, you need to ensure that the bash script ends with sh or bash. Before I proceed, let me connect to my server so that we have a server that we can be working with. So I have one of all my server running, but we're going to be using this one. This is the one that we used yesterday to deploy the web server. If I put the IP here, you will see that we still have the web server on it. Now, let's say we want to deploy exactly the same application in another server. Maybe we want to have an availability, and because of this, we want to run two servers. We want to have two servers running the same applications. So what we need to do is go to our terminal. Let me create another server, or let me see one of these servers that I currently have. Let's just use one of them as a replica of the one that we have currently. This is YouTube 1. Permit me to change it to, let's just call it web server 1. Let's call this one web. Oh, why is it? I'm going to call it web server 1. And let me see another one that, okay, this one too has an IP address. So let me first check this one. Does it have a web server running on it? So currently it doesn't have a web server running on it, and that is why you can see that it's just spinning and nothing is coming up. So we want to deploy our second web app in this server that doesn't have any web server on it. So first thing first, let's make sure that it has ability to be able to connect to the internet, or it has an SSH port opened. So I'm going to name that web server 2. I think we use this one. I'm going to name it web server 2. So we have web server 1 and web server 2. Both of them are going to run the same thing, but the instance is different. So first and foremost, let's make sure that it has an SSH. I mean, it has HTTP. So it doesn't have an HTTP. Possibly that is why you cannot view it over the browser. So I'm going to open the security group, and I'm going to add an an HTTPS to it. So that way we would be able to access the web server over the internet. So I'm adding an SSH to it so that we can be able to access it over the browser. So I've added an SSH to it. Then the next thing I want to do now, let me refresh this. Possibly that is why we can't access it. So currently it's still rolling, meaning that it does not have a web server, though it do have the capacity to be accessed over the browser, but it doesn't have a web server. So now, if I want to deploy the same web application in this instance, all I just need to do is to run the script that we have yesterday, the script that we created yesterday, this script, but that is all I just need to run on that server. But before you use a file as a bash script file, the first thing that you need to do, let's create another file, and I'm going to create this file on my, let me delete this one. So I'm going to create this file. I'm just going to call it, I'm going to create this outside, and I'm going to call it web server. So any bash scripting file or any scripting file, especially bash scripting file that you want to create, it has to end with either sh, mostly sh, or the bash. So it has to end with with sh or bash. So I'm ending mine with sh. So that's turned into a bash scripting file. And secondly, when you create a file as a bash scripting file, the second thing that you want to ensure when you turn a file to bash scripting file is the permission on that file. If the file do not have an executable permission, then you will not be able to run it. So the second thing that you want to check now is to make sure that this file that we have, it has an executable permission. How can you check this? when you go to your terminal, and if you do ll, it's going to list, or to make it a little bit, just let's do ll for that web server file alone. So you can see the permission currently on this web server file. It does not have an executable permission. You can see this last line of the owner is dash, meaning that it does not have an executable permission. So if a file do not have an executable permission, then you cannot run it as a script. So first and foremost, we need to give this file an executable permission. So how do you give it an executable permission? It's just for you to change the permissions on this file. So I'm going to change the permission with change mode, which we've learned in the file permission, user management and file permission. So if I do change mode and I can specify, you know that the first three lines here is for the owner of the file. So, and the owner of the file is always represented with U. So if I do H mode, if I do CH mode, U plus, then the permission that I want to give the file, the permission is X, which is executable permission. So H mode, CH mode, U plus X, then I will specify the name of the file. So now specifying the name of the file, if I press enter, then do LL again and call the name of the file, you can now see it actually has a executable permission, but it's not showing. So, but if I clear this, now I can run this file. I can run this file as a script file now. So to run a file as a script file, what you need to do, you can run it with either / then the name of the script file, or you do something like sh, then the name of the script file, sh, the name of the script file, like this. So you can either run it by doing / the web script file, the name of the file, or sh, then the name of the file. So to run this file now, let's go to our web server and let's start creating the command. So I'm going to get the IP address of the web server, which is, we already have this web server running, so we are not going to deal with this one, the web server 1. All we want to deal with now is the web server 2. So I'm going to get the IP address of web server 2. So now I have the IP address of web server 2. Then once I have the IP address of web server 2, I want to SSH into it. So let me see what is the SSH. So it's using the finance key. So I have to use the finance key. That is going to be SSH-I finance.pem. Then EC2 user at the IP address. So with this, I'm logging into the web server. I log into the web server. Now, if I do ls and go to the var file, you can see it does not have a www there. But if I want to run this www, I have to do something like sudo yum install httpd, and I have to -y. Then after this, I have to run all the other commands. But instead of running it like this, we have a file yesterday that we used. Let me check this script file. So these are all the commands that we ran yesterday. So I'm just going to copy all of these commands. Instead of running them one by one again, I'm going to copy this command and I'm going to run it on this file. So the first thing I need to do is to create the script file on this server. So I'm going to create the file with touch script script.sh. That is, you have to end the file name with the extension with sh to create the file. Now, if I do ll, then the script file name, you can see it gives me a file name, and the permission here is rw dash. So meaning that I cannot, the owner, I cannot execute this file. If I do try to execute it with something like /this script.sh, you see, it say permission denied. Even let me put sudo there. See, it say command not found. And the reason being that because we don't have the permission to execute. So if I clear this and I change the permission of the file. If I change the permission of the file, with change mode, then u plus x, meaning that I'm adding executable permissions to the owner, then the file that I'm changing the permission is called script file. So with this, if I do ls script file again, you can now see that on this, it has actually changed. So we have an executable permission here. So that is the first thing you need to do when you want to run a script. When you want to use a file as a script, you need to end the extension with sh. Then you also need to change the permission so that it can be executable. Then thirdly, a script file, a shared script file, we start with shebang. Shebang is just a syntax that tells the script that that tells the file that is running a script. And the command for, the code for shebang is just this: # exclamation mark /bin/bash. It depends on the kind of bash that you are using. It's possible that if you are using sh, then you can put sh there. But my own bash is I'm using bash. If you want to find out all the kind of bash that you can use on your system, there is command that you can just use to check for shell. No, sorry, it's supposed to be echo shell or echo. So you can see I'm using shell, bash. So that's why it's bin bash. So I'll clear this. So what I want to do is to open that shell script file and put the shebang there, which is then /bin/bash. So this is all I just need, and this turn the file that from now any code I put here is going to be a script. So what I want to do is to go to my screen and copy the code that we ran, the code that we ran manually yesterday on the other server. I'm just going to copy everything, excluding the shebang, because I already have that. So I'm going to put all the code and just paste it here. Then make sure that I have it correctly, because this bash, this one wasn't there. So it's going to be sudo yum update -y. Then after the sudo yum update -y, I'm going to have sudo yum install httpd -y. Then I'm going to have sudo system control start to start the server, to start the httpd. Then I also want to enable the httpd so that anytime I reboot my system, the httpd starts immediately. Then after that, I want to download the website file, which is going to be in a zip file or is a zip folder. Then after that, I want to unzip the folder with this. So once I unzip the folder, I want to remove the zip. Then I want to copy all of the file that is, or all the content of this particular folder, everything inside the folder, I want to copy it into this directory. So that is what all of these commands are going to do. So if I press escape, oh sorry, I'm supposed to press escape, then save this file. So now I have a shell script. Then to run this, I just need to do either /script, or I can do sh, then the name of the script. Any one of them is going to work. So if I press enter, then you can now see that it started doing everything. So it's going to run all the command in that script. So you can now see how easy it is when you have all your scripts, all your command in the scripts, and just run it as a bash script instead of running the command manually one by one. If I have to deploy like 20 servers, I just need to put all of the command in the script and run it on the machine instead of going to the server and start running it one by one. Now, this is everything I need to do. If I should go to that server now, I expect the command to. So if I go to that server, remember that when we go to this server, it was not having the website on it. So now if I refresh, you can see without doing any further work, we have the server already. So this is how it is very, very easy to have scripts instead of running the command line by line. Then you can run all of them together as a script. So let's go deeply into the shell scripting. Now you understand at least three or four things now. The first thing is, if you want to create a bash script file, it has to end with either .h or .bash, or the name of the bash, that the kind of bash that you are using. I'm using bash, so which is born again shell. That is why my script end with sh. Most of the time your script is going to end with sh. Also, when you create a file for a bash scripting, you need to give it an executable permission. If it does not have an executable permission, you cannot run it as a bash script file. It will not run. You won't be able to execute the file. Thirdly, you must have a shebang at the beginning of your script. You have a shebang at the beginning of your script. So we have three things now. The file ends with .h. You have to give it an executable permission. And thirdly, you have a shebang at the beginning of your script. Now, what are the other things that we can do with script file? There are a lot of things you can do with script file, with bash scripting. One, you can store data. It not necessarily mean that we are using our script as a web server to run a code for web server. You can do it for a lot of things. Just imagine, let me quickly show you one thing. Let me show you a command in AWS. If I run this command, AWS on S3 ls, it's going to list my buckets as long as, okay, I don't have permissions on this server. So let me quickly do one thing. Let me add a row to this server so that I can run it. Before you can use a server, you need permission. Before you can run a code, you need permission to run the code. So I just need to go to this server here. I want to make sure I'm running on my server 1. I mean server 2. This server. Okay. So let me add a row to it so that I have the permission as I need. Action security row. Then I want to give it admin access. The reason why is just so that I can be able to list an S3 bucket. So if I go back to my server now, if I run the same code, you can see now I can be able to list a bucket. So now, if what I want to do is more than listing a bucket. Let's say I want to view the content. Okay, let's write a code together. Let's view a particular instance on my account, if it is running or not. So there is a command. If I do AWS EC2 describe instance, describe instances, then this command is going to describe all the instances I have in my account. It's just an equivalent to AWS S3 list. This will list out all the web server, all the web server that I have in my AWS account. What if I do not want to view all the web server? I can limit this to a specific web server by just saying dash instance ID, then provide the instance ID. So let me provide the instance ID. Let's use this one so that I can terminate it. I can stop it. So if I put that instance ID, so this command now is going to list out the information of this particular instance for me. So if I press enter now, you can see that it lists out the information of that instance for me. And guess what? I may not want to see all the information about the instance. Maybe what I just want to see about that instance is whether it is running or not. So I can adjust that code to give me the information whether it is running or not. And how do I do this? I just need to specify to query. I need to start querying that instance. So I'm just going to copy. Let me copy all of this so that I can get what I need from it. I don't need to copy it, but I just want to show you how to be able to arrive to that a specific. I'm just going to put all of this. Just let me go a little bit down and put all of them here so that I can refer to it. So here now, I can do this. So if I go back to the command that I ran the other time, this command gave me information about a specific instance, but it gave me all the information about that instance. What if I just want to query a particular data, like whether it is running or not? So I can do query, then specify the reservation. So if you can see, that's why I copied it out. All the information of this server is stored in a reservation file. So that is why I copied this reservation, and this is the reservation that you are seeing here. And I can specify that inside all the reservation, I want to query everything inside the reservation with this command. And once it give me everything inside the reservation, you can see that everything inside the reservation is put in a bracket. So that is why I have it in a bracket, and I say everything inside it. So, and now after I get everything inside the reservation, I may say, okay, I want to get the instances. So I get the instance. I also want to get everything inside the instance. And if you look inside the instance, we have a lot of information inside the instance. But the information that I'm specifically interested in is the state. So I'm just going to say dot states. And if you look at the information inside the instance, all of them are in a list. So I'm going to put this in a list as well. So I'm going to say dot state dot name. You can see inside the state, I have a name. So that's it, dot state dot name. So once I specify that, I can ask, okay, give me this result, which is which is output, sorry. Give me this result in a test. Give me this result in a dash output is equal to test. So that it should give me this result in a test. So if this query is correct, it's just going to give me running. That means the server is running. So that is the only thing I want. So you can now see that it actually give me that the server is running. So if I want to know for other server too, then every time I have to be running this code, right? But guess what? I may put this code, all of this, in my terminal, I mean in my share script file, and I may just call it check state, check instance state, check instance state.sh. Okay, I'm supposed to say touch. So I can now do vi check instance state, then put my shebang. Then once I put my shebang, I can just put the command here like this. So when I put the command here, I can say, if you put the command there like that, you have to put all of them in a bracket. Then you can say state is equal state or instance state is equal to this. So when I say instance state is equal to this, I don't even need to put the bracket at the end. Then I can tell it to echo instance state. So anytime I just need that file, and anytime I need that information, I will just run this file. And don't forget to change mode to u plus x, then check, then to run it, I can do slash check. Say command not found, something is wrong with the command. Let me check. Clear. That is wrong. Something is wrong there. Vi, go to this file again. Okay, so the problem there is when you are running a share script, you don't give it a space. I put a space here. It doesn't supposed to have a space. Yeah, something is still wrong. We said that line 2, there's an error in line 2. Okay. I will check this one later. Let me continue. So when I get to the site, when I get to the, because I want to cover all this area, but I'm going to get the, when I get to the where we run function, I'm going to troubleshoot that. But before that, I want to cover what I have for today. So I'm going to clear this. Actually, don't need this one. So let me explain this. I'm going to troubleshoot that later. So if you want to view, if you want to print out the command that you have in a script, so we understand this shebang. If you want to view the, if you want to print out the command that you have in a script, you want to print it out to the terminal, then you use echo, and that is why I was running echo here. That is why I was running echo here. That's why I was running echo here. So if I view this script again, you can see when we run this script, it actually do not tell us anything. It just deploy all the resources. But one thing that you can do if you want to know, for instance, if your script is having issue, one way to know is by adding some instruction in that file. So one of the instructions that I might do, if I want to know where the script is currently at, I can give it some instruction by saying, I can give it some instruction by saying, hey, I want to know, once you run updated, I can say echo, by passing it some instruction, echo system updated. Because the first command is to update the system. So for me to know whether, okay, it has actually finished updating the system, I can pass like, okay, once you finish running this code here, let us know by running this one, by echo system successfully updated. So that echo will print to the screen so that we will know that, okay, the system has actually been successfully updated. So then after it finish updating the system, then the next command is to install HTTPD. So once you finish install HTTPD, I can also echo some text to say, okay, HTTPD was installed successfully. Then after that, I might put another. You don't have to put every command everywhere. You just want to put where that are necessary. Then I can echo another command there by saying, okay, the website file not downloaded. And after that, finally, I might put a command here that say, okay, the I say echo files copied to the HTML folder completed or successfully. Then finally, I might say echo installation or web deployment was successful. So I can run this file again. So to save, I just do colon WQ, then the exclamation mark. So I can run this file again with dash. I think that is web scripts. So now you can see immediately after, because it doesn't see anything to download, and it just prints out for us what we ask is to print out. You say you can see system successfully updated. Then after that, you say HTTPD was installed successfully. And once it finished that and it goes down, then towards the end, it gave us that a file is, you see what he wrote there? He said files copied to the HTML folder successfully. So now we have information about, finally, you say web deployment was successful. So now we have some information. So if there is any error in our scripts, we can easily debug it to know where the error is actually coming from, because it's told me if the code was not running or it stopped somewhere, then I can know where precisely the code actually stopped and which one was successful So that way we can easily debug. So that is the purpose of using an echo. And the second one here, which is called and before the echo, there is another one that you can use to pass information, which is called a comment. If you look at, let me clear the screen. No, sorry, not that. Let me clear the screen and open the script again. If you look at here, I just put all the script together. If I pass the script to somebody, he may not know what is going on. So I may try to add some information. For maybe other people that I'm working with, so that they know what my script is doing and at what stage. So if you put a pound sign, not the shebang, if you put a pound sign and type something here, maybe if you want to give information when you write this code, just put a pound sign at the top and just say update the server. So this particular one that you put a pound sign in front will not run, it will not execute, because it's just for informational purpose. Then every other place that you want to put some information for, maybe for later use or for your own benefits, because if you come back to this code maybe in some months later, you want to know what your code is doing. And if you pass it to another person, then you also want to help that person to know what this particular code is doing or command. So here I may put installing or install HTTPD for the web server. So anybody that I pass this to now will know, okay, why do I do this? I can say download a website from free/css.com. Then finally, I can do here, like, okay, at this place, maybe why the person is wondering why do I delete this file, I'll just say delete the zip file or the zip folder. That's a file. Delete the zip file after extraction. So now I'm passing some information to my to either myself or to other people that I'll be passing this file to. So this way they know what I'm doing, what the code is doing, and the thought process behind this code. So they know that, okay, I'm updating the server. That is why I ran the sudo yum update -y. They know that, okay, I installed the HTTPD. That is why I run sudo yum install HTTPD, and they know that I'm downloading the website, and they know where I'm downloading it for, and things like that. So this is the purpose of comments. We call this comments in the shell scripting. So if I save this, and run it again, it's those ones that I put as comment, it will not execute them. It will only execute those ones that are not in comments. So now you have two means of passing information. The first one is to print out to the terminal so that you can see what the code is actually doing while it is running. And the second one is just to pass information for other people or for yourself for future purpose. So now, if you look at this command, there are some repetition. If you look at our code here, let me clear this. If you look at our code, there are some repetition. Let me view it again. Scripts. There are some repetition there. So we can represent this repetition with a variable. We can save all these file repetition with a variable. So if you look here, I have HTTPD, 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 and things like that. So you can use variable to store a file. I mean, to store data in scripting. So to store data there, or to use a variable, I can just go to the top of my file. Go to the top of my file and just do the variable I want to use. The variable can be anything, but you should try to avoid using keywords such as sudo, such as start. Try to avoid using all those kind of wordings. So let me call this one the web server, or the server engine. Yeah, web server engine is equal to HTTPD. So now you might think like, oh, why do I represent a small word with a longer word? Yeah, it's always good to represent, to use a word, I mean to use a variable, or to name your variable in, to give it a meaningful name, so that if somebody that is not there when you write the code, immediately they see the variable name, they know what the variable simply means. And here, instead of me putting an HTTPD, so I can just use this variable name where I have all the HTTPD, like here. So instead of putting HTTP there, and to call the variable, just put the $, and put the variable name. And the same thing, everywhere I need a variable, I'm just going to do exactly the same thing there. Everywhere I call the variable, I'm going to do exactly the same thing there. So one thing that this is good is that, look at it now. When I want to change the name of the variable, I have to go to all the file or all the line and change the name of the variable there. So what if I have like 1,000 or 1 million lines of code? That means I have to go to all the line of code one by one and change the HTTP there. But the good thing now, because I've changed this to a variable, anytime I want to change the HTTPD, maybe I want to use something else like Nginx, I don't have to go to the line of code and change it one by one. I just need to change it at the variable declaration, or define, where I define the variable. So if I don't want to use HTTP again, I can change this to Nginx. So guess what? Everywhere that I have my Nginx, they will now be replaced with engine. I mean, everywhere I have my web server engine, they will now be replaced with Nginx. So this is the purpose and the benefits of using the variables. Also, apart from using variables and how to call variables, you can also use conditional statements. You can use conditional statement. Look at here now. If I should run this code, let me change this back to HTTPD, because I don't want to use DNS. Let me change it back to HTTPD and show you something here. I'm going to save this, and let's call this script again. It's going to give me an error in a place, and I should have checked for the error, so that in case, if I know that, okay, this error is going to occur, I should have used something else. should have used something else, like, look at it here. It's showing me replacing this. It's asking me, do I want to continue? Let me give it yes. So yes. So you can see that all of this is now making the script not to be able to go. And the reason why it's showing me all of this is because I already did that. I already ran the code. So now that it got to where this line of code is having difficulties. And the reason being that if I go back to the script, let me show you why it's showing. Let me cancel all of this. If I go to the slash, let me go ls. So what it's trying to do is trying to go to this file. And if you open that file, I mean that folder, brown, there is, you see some asset there. If I do ls again, ls brown asset, it's seeing some other things there too. So the reason is, now that you see all of this, you know what is happening? Because I downloaded it when we ran the script, it downloaded the website again. And when it downloaded the website again, there is a line in that script that if I do, let me show you that line, cat, and let me do cat, the name of the script. Look at it. This line here, it downloaded the script again. I mean, it downloaded the website. He unzipped the website, and immediately he unzipped the website. He wants to copy the website again. Here, you want to copy it, you want to move all the content of the unzip file, and all the content of the unzip folder, you want to move it to the HTML. But inside each HTML, all the contents were already there, because the first command that the first time we ran the script, it did exactly the same thing. So now it's having difficulty, like, hey, all the files that we say we should copy to this folder, they are already there. So if we want to be more efficient and more conscious with our code, we should have provide an if statement, like, hey, if you get to this particular place, if the folder or the content has already been downloaded, or they have already been copied or moved to this folder, skip that particular command, don't run it. That is the purpose for the conditional statement. So if you want to write a conditional statement for the code, the way to write a conditional statement, if I do script, the way to write a conditional statement is, so here now, you can see that I can allow it to download. And here, so I can put a condition here. I can put an if statement here and say, if, so to do if, you have to put something like this. I can say if the folder already exists, that means if let me see, move this folder to this particular place. I can say, okay, if /var, that might not work. Now to move all this particular folder, oh, sorry, I was not saying increase the font. Let me remove this and quickly increase the font first. So sorry, I was not checking the comments since. Sorry, I was not checking the comments since. So let me VI again. VI in the script. So I can add an if statement here. I'm looking at the time. I want to be mindful of the time. So the way to add an if statement to the script is here. Here I can put an if statement here and say if file already copied, if I can do something like brown, let me see. I don't think that command will not work here. But what I actually want to do is that I can put an if statement and say if the zip file has already been moved. So I need to check inside this file. Like if a particular file is present, like if it is present and if this folder is not empty, then it should skip that particular folder. So I can do something like if 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 I can. So to do this, I need to first put that folder in a command. This will not work. So I don't want to start troubleshooting this here. So actually what I want to do is that I can just explain the command with a with a basic with a basic let me script this. So what I actually want to do, or the way to write the command, that what I want to write there will not work. It might take me some minutes to debug it. But if I quickly create a touch file, I'm just going to create this on script 2. Then I want to change the command. I want to change the modification to u plus x. Then I want to script 2. Oh no, I create the script again. I want to use script 2 instead of, let me see. Um, let me see. Do I still have my content there? Okay, yeah, my content is still there. It's a HTTPD in line 2. So let me quickly show you this. Let me use the first example that I was doing to explain the if statement. So the first example that I was doing, that was the check instance state. Let me view to the check instance state. So if I use this one, so what I was missing here, I think I found it now. What I was missing here is a quote. What I was missing here is a quote, is a quotation here. So here now I can run this sh check say not found. Yeah, it's actually discovered like instance state is equal to running. Then why is it showing command not found again? Let me see. vi script, we're on check web server. So this way, so I have AWS EC2 describe instances that dash instance ID, then I provide the instance ID, I query it, then I provide that there's text. Yeah, this should work. This should work. Let me remove this space. Clear. So here now I can do something like sh check web server again. It's showing me that it is running and I'm still having command not found dash state. Say line 2. So it's giving me an error in line 2. So let me quickly check that. vi check web server. So instance state. Okay, let me do something like so I want to rename this, but possibly it's making that mistake. So I have the command here, instance, AWS is to describe instances, then I want it to echo it. Okay, here I need to change this to instance, and I also need to change this to dash. So when I save this, so then I can do sh script, no, sh web check webs. Okay, so I think the error I was having earlier is because I used dash instead of underscore. So dash was not really, it was not finding the dash, it was not finding it for me, it's saying it like a minus. So when I change it into underscore, then it's actually solved the error. So this case now, I have the instance running. Now that the instance is running, I can use an if statement to say if the instance is running, then stop it. Something like vi check web server. So I can have I can have an if statement here, like if before I have an statement, I can say instance state condition is equal to, then I can call the instance state here. Like, okay, this should even work straight. If instance state is equal to running, then I can have then I can write a command to stop the EC2 instance state, which is I can have a command here that's called if the instance state is running, then possibly here I can write a function. A function, the way to write a function is just I can just say stop instance, which is going to be Then pass the same, give it a command also. And the command to stop an instance is AWS EC2 stop instance. Then I have to pass the instance ID, that is instance underscore ID. Then I have to pass the ID here. So this is the ID of the instance that I want to stop. So I'm going to copy this instance ID and I'm going to paste it inside here. And if you want to get this command, it's not something you just need to go to your terminal, the AWS EC2 or AWS EC2 CLI documentation. You say that, or you just type stop instance, stop instance or stop EC2 instance using AWS CLI. Then it will give you the documentation. Just click on it. Then you will see the command. So these are all the command this is the stop instance, and these are all the flag that you can run with it. So, but if it goes towards the end, towards the down, you will see like this is one of the command that you can just run and copy it. You see AWS EC2 stop instances, then that dash instance ID, then you provide the instance ID. So that is that. So let me run this code. So I have provided the stop instance ID. This is a function. So for me to call this function here, I provide a function. Okay, sorry, no, that's not a function. So the function is going to look like, to call a function, you have to give it a bracket, then you have to put it in a command here. So this is a function now. So I'm just calling a function, and I'm saying that anytime this function is called, they run AWS EC2 stop instances, then provided the ID of the instance. So for me to call the function, I just need to run a if statement that if instance state is equal to running, then call the function stop instances. And this is how just to call the function. So I'm just going to save this screen. Then anytime I run this script, it's going to check the EC2 instance. If it is running, then it's going to stop it. We can also provide an if statement that if it is running, stop it. But if it is stopped, just comment, just say A, or give us a instruction like if it is stopped. Let me go to the SSH, let me VI. So if you want to add an if statement, you can just add something like s, then just echo instance is already stopped or was already stopped. So instance is already stopped. So here, then you need to end the if statement with fi. So this now is going to go to my AWS EC2. It's going to get the ID. It's going to get this particular instance. Then you can also change this instance ID by using a variable. So anytime we want to call the instance ID, we just pass a variable there, and we can use the code for another instance. Because the way it is now, we can only use this code for this particular instance because we had coded it. So if you want to use this code for another instance, then we advise you to change this one into a variable and use the name of the variable. So what this code is going to do is that it's going to check my instance if it is running. If it is running, then it's going to save that information here that it is running. Then once it's saved it there that it is running, then here I'm telling him that I'm just creating a function here that if it gives, if this one return is running, and that's why I say if instance state is running, then it should stop it. It should stop it by calling this function. But if it is not running, if it is already stopped, then it should call this function that it should just tell us that, oh, the instance has already stored. And here, what I will also want to add here, I would just want to add like an instruction like echo that instance was successfully stopped. So that way we know that, okay, it's actually stopped the instance. So if to run this code, I can just say check instance. So it's going to look at, you see there's an error in line 4, and there is also, okay, for the check AWS EC2 check, see there's error in line 4. Let's check that. BI check instance. VI check instance. If instance state is running, okay, say line 4, which is here. Stop instance, we pass it a function. We pass it a function like AWS EC2. Okay, here there is an error there, true. So here I'm supposed to have dash dash there, dash dash instance. I'm supposed to have dash dash instance here. So now it's correct. So AWS EC2 stop instance dash dash dash, you pass it the instance ID. So when I run it again, clear, say error near token AWS. Then view this again, script. That's AWS stop instance. I pass the name of the instance there. Then if stop the instance, but I didn't call it, and I say if instance is equal to running, then stop the instance. Then echo. Okay, let me remove this echo. Possibly this might be. Okay, line 7 now, instance is already stopped. So it actually stopped the instance. Line 7, something is there too. Let's review what is, oh no, let's check what is in line 7. BI check script. So I may also want to remove this. If stopped, let me check the instance. Possibly the instance is stopped. That is 6DF. I mean 676DB. So the instance is not stopped, it's still running. So So instance is still running. Let me see. Oh, I have to s echo instance is not stopped if running. Oh, okay. I've seen another error that I made here. If you look at this, I mean, so when I'm doing this in real life, I don't type all this command out. I prefer to copy. This one is underscore. It's supposed to be dash. So say command not found. Okay, let me write another code. Let me look at it. Oh, time has gone. 971234567. See, okay. That is vi check script. Oh, stop instances. Instance state is equal to this. Or parentheses missed in line 7. So I think I have the parentheses here. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me do this. AWS. I have an error in line 4 again. All right, let me review this thing again for the last time. If it doesn't work, then I will have to troubleshoot this, then post the video later. Line. No, we can't call the. Let me check. They call this like this. We don't have to call it that way. We don't have to call it that way. You can actually go directly without calling it that way. Say S in line 9. If instance state is equal to running, then stop instance state. Actually, ordinary stop like this will run, then S echo instance already stopped if. S echo instance already stopped if. So I'll just review this code. It's working up to this stage because it's giving us instance is already running. Echo instance states. So it's giving us that the instance is running. Then we call the function here that if instance, we create a function. Let me give it. We create a function here. We call it stop instances. The if instance underscore state is equal to running, then stop it. Else echo instance is already stopped. I'm missing something here. I don't think I need to write a function here, but let me see if that will work. I have another issue. So it's seeing the S now, X. VI X state. S column. No, I don't think that there should be column in the X. Like, this code that I ran has actually worked for me before. I don't know, there is something somewhere missing that I'm not saying. And this function, I don't think that it should be here too. Let me check something. So this shouldn't disturb. Okay. I don't think I need that function there. Stop underscore instance AWS. Okay, I think what I was missing is something like this. Instance, come on. I was missing, do I have to have this? Okay, I think I need to have stop instance is equal to, this is what I was missing. Stop instance is equal to this. So when I stop the instance, okay, when I stop the instance, then inside this function, I actually don't need to call it a function. I can just call stop instance. Okay, that should work. And if it doesn't work, I will have to troubleshoot it. Yeah. Okay, line 7 now. Line 7 now, it said instance state command line 7. So we have another issue in line 7. So let me see, vi check. So we actually have it running up to here. So let's say echo. Okay, we don't need this. Let me clear this again. So now I can run the script again. Okay, stopped. So actually, it actually stopped the code, but there's an issue going on in that line 7. I'm going to, okay, let me see for the final time. Okay, I have to put $sign here. If stopped, echo instance is already stopped. Okay, I think it should work now. Okay, instance is already stopped. Something is still happening in this line 7 that I'm not getting. No, S in bash scripting does not really need, it doesn't really need a colon. If so, where is even line 7? Let me even make sure that I'm getting my line 7 correctly. So we have up to this place that is working. Then if instance is running, then stop it. Else We can also have the S to start it. So let me see this echo here. Possibly that is what is having I'm having issue with. Echo. Okay, this is going to be the final one. If it doesn't work here, then I'll have to troubleshoot it and post the video later. Okay, I have to. This time is stopped. Something is going on in this line 7 that I'm not seeing. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Let me copy the code and check it somewhere. Yes. If stopped, something is wrong here. Instance state is equal to running, then if it's running, stopped it, and it has actually stopped it. It has run this code to stop it. And okay, let me do something that, let me run a command there and say, I'm going to start instance is equal to, I'm going to call the command here to start an instance. That is AWS EC2 start instances is equal dash instance ID. Then I'm going to pass it an instance ID again. So I can now remove this and know whether this echo is the one that is actually giving us an issue. Just a process of troubleshooting. So I have if stopped, if it is running, stop it. Else, that means if it is stopped, then start it. So I just want to know where the error is coming from. Okay, I'm going to save this and I'm going to call it a day from here. Line 5, instant SSH, line 5 expected while looking for a machine. Let's see, I check. Okay, there's error here. And it's seeing another error here. All right, I'm going to troubleshoot this later, and I'm going to post the video on the channel if this doesn't work. All right, sorry guys, it's still not working. So I'm going to troubleshoot this later and I'm going to post the video. I hope you guys can still hear me. I'm going to post the video. We'll spend almost another extra 35 minutes. So start instances. Let me check. Yeah, my command is correct. So why is it not? Why is it giving an error? Say close the parentheses in line 5. Oh, where do I have this one too? Close the parentheses in line 5. Oh, okay, yeah. That line 7 is still giving an error. This line 5, line 6. Okay. Move line 7. Let's see again. Say command not found. Do I have any command here? It says command not found. Yes. If statement. Okay, let me paste this here. Possibly something is wrong with my command. I'm going to paste this and I'm going to remove my okay. Possibly at times when you're having an error like this, it might be something like a script that is not working and you just need to copy and paste. So I'm going to do echo instance is running, and also apart from instance is running, I also want to have stop underscore instance. So here now, okay. So what I actually did here is to remove the heads that I wrote. Possibly it might be corrupt and I didn't know. So that's why I removed the X that I wrote. So let's see if it doesn't work here. This is going to be the final for tonight. All right, I'm going to troubleshoot this, and when I find the error, I will actually post it. I will edit the video and post it under that. So thank you. We need dash instance ID in the if statement. Okay, let me check that. Am I missing that? I think I've covered everything. I might have to troubleshoot this area. Say instance that's considered is moving in the if statement. Okay. I think I covered everything. We start the instance, we stop it. If the instance state is equal to running, then I think we might be facing with command. Then if then instance stop, echo instance is stop, is running. Okay. I don't think it should complain because of that, but let's put it dollar sign instance, call the instance state, then start the instance state, then okay, let's try that, but I don't think that should make it, and that's going to be the final for tonight. Yeah, that wasn't it. I will call it. I will troubleshoot this and post it on the. I will troubleshoot this and post it. All right. Let's see this. Can you guys still hear me? Sorry. I think here this is where we are making an error from here. It's supposed to be in dollar sign because we are calling a variable. We are calling a variable, so this is supposed to be in dollar sign. Then every other thing should be fine. I'm going to remove this. We don't really need this one. So I'm going to call it again. It's a command not found. Command not found. Instance is running. Line 6 and line 11. Where did I get all of this from? All right, let me troubleshoot this later. I'm going to post the video later on the channel. All right, thank you guys. I will troubleshoot this and post the video, but There's something wrong, especially in this line 6 or line 7. All right. Thank you, guys. I will post the video later if I solve it.